Alright guys, so today we're going to be getting a little bit resourceful with what we're DIYing with. And if you guys have seen my TikTok made me shoot these photographs slash trying TikTok photography trends, TikTok photography hacks. If you've seen that video, I used a bunch of newspaper in that video and I saved it. So I saved it because I wanted to make cute paper out of it. I mean, like, this is just gonna get recycled, thrown in the trash anyway, so I figured, you know what, let's just use it for the greater good of things and make new paper. Yeah, so basically we're just gonna be going through the motions of, first of all, making new paper out of old paper. So if you're interested in, you know, watching this process, then let's get on into it. Okay, so we're gonna be starting with this little baby blender full of water. This is just like an older blender that never gets used anymore. So basically what we're gonna be doing is just ripping this paper and putting it in the blender and hoping that this little blender can handle it. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and continue doing this until I feel like I have enough. Okay, so I think I have enough for this little feller. If your blender is a bit bigger than this one, obviously you can put more paper in it, but yeah, I think this is as far as this little guy's gonna go. So I'm gonna plug it in and start blending. Okay, oh geez, okay, put it down, Fallon, put it down. Before we go further, let's just talk about this contraption here for a minute. So you will need something like this situation before you can make paper. Let's start with this part. So when I was in high school, I made paper for an art project, and this is what we came up with. Basically, it's just a wooden frame with a sheet of metal mesh like stapled to the back. And I remember I got this mesh just from the dollar store. I don't know if they still sell it, but I did get it from there. But I did a little bit of research in case you guys do want to create this out of stuff you have at home. If you have a bit of window screen, like screen from your windows, that also is what other people have been using to make this. But if you don't have a just like wooden frame, just like a picture frame will work fine, and just staple your screen to the back. And then you should have a little contraption like this. It doesn't have to be this big. It can be smaller, it can be bigger, it can be whatever you want. And then I just took this frame from a picture frame from the dollar store, and you need this to go on the back side, not like the indented part, not that part. You want it to go on the back side. So this is pretty much the same size as the back side of my frame, because my frame was made to like be the same size as an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Now that we have that, you need a container of water that can fit and submerge your frame. So if you're working with a smaller frame, you're gonna have an easier time trying to find a thing of water, because I scoured everywhere looking for a bucket big enough for this, and it was not easy, let me tell you. And this one like just barely fits it. Like it's like, it doesn't go all the way down, so the water has to be really, really like really full. What I'm gonna do is dump what people call the pulp into this thing of water. Now I'm gonna be really careful because my thing's really full and I don't want it to overflow. So, oh yeah, that's good, yeah. And it's just gonna turn into like this really murky, gross looking water, yeah. Now where my blender is so small, I don't know if I got enough pulp, so we're just gonna try it and see what happens. You're gonna take your frame just like this, submerge this in the water, shake it kind of around, and try and get some pulp on the top, and then lift it up. I really feel like this is gonna overflow. Oh God. It's really close. It's really close to overflowing. I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared. Okay, maybe I'll take this off until I get the pulp on the top of it. Okay, yeah, so once you get your thing in, just kind of squeeze it around nice and slow, because ain't nobody got time for spillage. I'm gonna put my frame on top. And then lift it up. I do have something here, but it's looking really, really thin. So I'm thinking I'm gonna need to add some more pulp to this water. Okay guys, so we are back with a better water to pulp ratio. Hopefully. Unfortunately, it's not really something that like I can really tell you exactly how much of each to put in or anything. It's just kind of like go with the flow type of situation. Let's try this again. I'm going to put this in the water, swish it around a little bit, and hope that we get some pulp on there. Oh yeah, this is way better. I wish my container was just the tiniest bit wider because it would make this so much easier. So now we're kind of at like more of like a fun part where you can actually add things to this. Like if you have like little tiny pieces of flowers, you can throw this in. Little pieces of colored paper, you can put that in. If you have anything that you want to add to your paper to make it a little bit more cool, like you can add glitter, you can add paint. I'm not going to be adding paint. I kind of wanted to, but I didn't. But this pan is actually made for cooking, so I didn't want to do that. So I have like some rogue confetti that I'm going to try and put in. And it floats, folks. I don't want them to all be like perfectly on the top. I think it would be cool if some of them were kind of like inside of it. I'm gonna take my picture frame. You can obviously put them in at the same time, but for me, it was just easier to do this way. And I'm just gonna kind of make a square, and then we're gonna lift. Nice and easy. Very nice, very nice. Cool. Ooh, look how cool it looks. So far, so freaking good. Also, just a warning, if you're working with newspaper, the ink might come off on your hands and turn them black. Just saying. So I really feel like my table's getting a little overcrowded, so let's get to work. I'm gonna take this and flip it onto the paper towel and sing to you as I do it, apparently. Perfect. I'm just gonna take a towel on the back side of this. The paper that's like underneath of this that I used to make it look kind of cute and more colorful is completely like, it's soaked, so I'm probably just gonna end up turning this into new paper too. Okay, so I got an actual towel this time because I feel like it's gonna absorb way more. Okay, so once you get it dry enough, like enough moisture out of it, you can actually just peel it right off the back once you get enough of the water away. I have seen people ironing them to keep them flat, or people using a rolling pin on them. So let's just try that really quick, just for fun, just to get some of the excess. Wow, can I even talk today? No, not really. This is really just to like make it flat and to get rid of some of the excess water. So yeah, once you've squished your thingy into a book or underneath a book, or just let it air dry, you're done with the paper. So I'm gonna go ahead and use up some of this extra water and stuff and make a few more pieces of paper. Actually the next day I went ahead and I let the paper just dry overnight. I'm going to show you guys how it turned out. I made a couple of different ones, and I know probably in the video I made it look like it was like a hard process, but it really isn't. Like if you're not filming it and you're not trying to make sure people can see every angle of what you're doing, it's so much easier, because once I turned the camera off I was able to make like a bunch more, and it was just like so easy. Like once you get the pulp all in, you just kind of keep doing your thing. And like it is a little bit messy because, you know, if you're working in like a confined space, water might kind of get everywhere, but if your frame can actually fit in your bucket, you're gonna have a lot of an easier time than I did. Here is how the paper turned out. So I did end up ripping up that pink paper that I was using underneath because it got all soggy anyway, and I really liked it because once I grinded it up, like you could see like a bunch of like little tiny like gold flakes in the paper, which I thought was really cool. For this one I added like a couple of extra pieces of that paper just for a fun little touch. This is the second piece that I got. This one's a little bit thicker than the first, the other pink one. And this one I didn't really add anything extra to it, but there was a few pieces of confetti that were still floating around in the water. So they did end up like being inside the paper, which I think is kind of cool. It's kind of like unique just to have like little pieces of random things. So a lot of these turned out like really different like thicknesses. Like the more pulp you get in your thing, the thicker the paper is gonna be. Like this one here is the first one that I did, and this one has like the confetti in it, by the way. But this one is probably closest to like the thickness of a regular sized piece of paper. And this one has all the confetti that I poured into it. Now some of this confetti is gonna fall off because there's nothing really holding it on there. Some of the confetti has a bit of paper over the edges, which is what's gonna hold the confetti on. If the confetti's just laying on the top, it's probably gonna end up falling off, but that's okay, because there's a lot on there, so I'm sure we could spare a few pieces. Actually, there's now a lot more on my floor, even after I swept it up yesterday. And something that I kind of wish I did was experiment with food coloring, because I really feel like food coloring would add like a lot to these, especially whereas like it's food safe, so it wouldn't have ruined the pan that I was using. And I feel like we could have got some cool colorful designs on this paper rather than it just being kind of gray and then these ones that are like tinted pink. The possibilities are pretty much just like endless with what you can do with this. Like you can add so many different things into it to make it like more fun. You can do like all colored paper, like instead of newspaper, like if you have scrap construction paper, so you can make colors. You can add like pressed flowers, thread, like there's literally so many different things you can add to this to make it so much like, to make it really unique and fun and cool. And then at the end, you can use it for paper. You can make cards out of it, which I think is what I'm gonna do with mine. It's just like a fun little project to do, especially where everyone's like stuck at home. Maybe if you have kids or something, it's something fun you can do. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's fun to recycle things into new things. I think I said that in a recent video. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below if you guys have ever tried to make paper at home or if you think you might try now. And with all that being said, thanks so much for watching, and make sure to give it a thumbs up if you enjoy my videos. Hit that subscribe button down below. I will see you guys on Tuesday with a brand new video, as well as with a new vlog on the vlog channel. Bye!